Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the distinguished gentleman from New York, Mr. Weiner.
Gentleman is recognized.
Great courage to wait until all members have already spoken and then stand up and wrap your arms around procedure. We see it in the United States Senate every single day where members say, we want amendments, we want debate, we want amendment, but we're still a no. And then we stand up and say, oh, if only we had a different process, we'd vote yes. You vote yes if you believe yes. You vote in favor of something if you believe it's the right thing. If you believe it's the wrong thing, you vote no. We are following a procedure. I will not yield to the gentleman, and the gentleman will observe regular order. The gentleman will observe regular order. Gentleman thinks that if he gets up and yells on it, he's going to intimidate people into believing he's right. He is wrong. The gentleman is wrong. The gentleman is providing cover for his colleagues rather than doing the right thing. It's Republicans wrapping their arms around Republicans rather than doing the right thing on behalf of the heroes. It is a shame. A shame. If you believe this is a bad idea to provide health care, then vote no. But don't give me the cowardly view that, oh, if it was a different procedure, the gentleman will observe regular order and sit down. I will not. The gentleman will sit. The gentleman is correct in sitting. I will not.
This is quite obviously not in order.
Gentleman will suspend.
I will not stand here
Gentleman is recognized.
and listen to my colleagues say, oh, if only I had a different procedure that allows us to stall, and then vote no. Instead of standing up and defending your colleagues and voting no on this humane bill, you should urge them to vote yes, something the gentleman has not done.
Democratic Congressman Anthony Weiner of New York back in July, quite indignant about Republicans in the House using procedural complaints to stop health care for 9/11 first responders. Ultimately, 2 months later, the House did get it together and managed to pass the 9/11 first responders bill, with the vast majority of Republicans still voting no. The 9/11 first responders bill is still not law. It passed the House, but it still has to get through the Senate. And in the Senate, the support for the bill is there. It could pass. A majority of senators are in favor of it. But it cannot come up for a vote because it is being filibustered by Senate Republicans. Joining us now is Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democrat of New York. Congressman, thanks very much for being here.
Sure.
As somebody who worked very hard to get this through the House, how do you feel about the fact that it is still being held up in the Senate?
Well, you know, all we want is a vote. I mean, we just want a yes or no vote. This is now 9 years later. Quite literally, people are dying as they're watching this show. More than 900 people have died since September 11th from 9/11 related illnesses. And you're right, there really isn't a substantive argument against this. Yesterday in the House of Representatives, and today the president signed a bill that gave tax cuts to millionaires and billionaires in the amount of about $70 billion. This is a $7 billion program for a discrete group of people who every day are, frankly, coughing. And I guess the challenge that we have here is trying to stop the moving target of what the objection is. Mm-hmm. Is it that they don't like the bill because it's just for New Yorkers? Well, it's not that. Frankly, 435 districts, and 434 of them have someone who's dying of 9/11 related illnesses. Is it the procedure? They said if only you pass the tax bill, then we'll go on to the other things. Well, this is one of the other things. And we're not asking, we've got 50 votes. We've got way more than that. We've got probably close to 60 votes. But the objection to even having a vote on this thing is what makes so many Americans watch what goes on in their legislature. And maybe I was a little bit overexcited there. But with the sentiment I was expressing is what a lot of people say to me on the street. It says, even if you're against it, okay, have a yes or no vote so we can at least have it considered. And it's very frustrating to watch. And this could be the last week we get to do it, because I believe the Republicans in the House won't bring this up again. So we literally need this vote now or never.
I saw your office today put out a statement specifically responding to John McCain on this. He described work on this bill as fooling around. And you put out a statement in response to that. Again, just a question about whether or not procedure matters, whether or not actually getting to vote on something matters.
Well, look, I think of all people who would understand the sensitivities of this, John McCain, at least in theory, should. Look, I think what sometimes my friends in the Senate don't realize is that what they think is regular day-to-day procedural maneuvering looks to the rest of the country as standing in the way of really letting democracy work. But in this case, literally, we have this universe of people, and we think it's about 10,000 people, No one is dying to get, no, that's a wrong use of word. No one wants to get this benefit. It's not like an entitlement. No one's trying to get toxic stew in their lungs to go then be able to sign up for the 9/11 First Responders Program. We figured out a way to pay for it. It's completely paid for now, and we have the votes. And so for John McCain to say, oh, this is some kind of a game or a stunt, no. This is us trying to do, frankly, what I think we should have done on September 11th, and we're trying to finally do now. And I would just say to my Senate colleagues, if there is one issue all year that should transcend politics, it really should be this one. You know, you showed a clip of Jon Stewart's panel. You know, I'm sure those guys are Republicans. I don't think this is a partisan thing here, and hopefully they'll find their way clear to do it.
Late last night, as you mentioned, the House passed the compromise that the president made with Republicans to extend the Bush-era tax cuts. I signed it today. You voted no on that. What do you think is going to happen in 2 years when all those things sunset again and when this debate starts all over again in the middle of the presidential race?
Yeah, you know, the way I look at it, Rachel, we have a near-term problem, a medium, and a long-term. The near-term problem is the Republicans, I think, ate our lunch in this card game. I think that they got basically everything they wanted for this session was the estate tax and the increase of the Bush, and the extension of the Bush tax cuts. So they got that. Then there's the medium term in 2 years. I am very concerned that whatever political pressure we all felt this year to get this done, we're going to feel even more profoundly in an election year in 2 years. And that's the problem. And it's also worth noting that a lot of the middle class benefits don't go 2 years. They only go 1 year. Yeah. So you're not going to have the same political imperative to do that. But then there's the long term thing. If this becomes permanent, which seems like the path that's going on, in which what the sinister objective of the Republicans when they passed it with a 10-year sunset, they knew what they were doing. They knew it would be very hard to eliminate this thing, and that's why it was so important that the president stood up for this. I fear that we're going to be digging out of red ink forever, cannibalizing programs that are important to pay for it. So I think there's going to be I think we're going to be seeing the echoes of this tax fight again and again. And now, I hate to say it, these are not the Bush tax cuts anymore. Now these are the Obama tax cuts, and that's what's so frustrating about it.
Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democrat of New York, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it.
So, guess who got a brand new spy drone and then broke it?
I feel like I want to fight it.
You know what I mean?
No, I said back up. Okay.
And then right after that, I broke it. This does relate to developments in the larger world. I promise, boss. We had a really long week. We needed it. I'm sorry I broke the expensive new thing.